Hi guys, welcome to Open the Vaults. Today's episode is obviously not on a Friday, it's on a Saturday instead. Last night was one of my best friend's birthday, so we went out and got trashed, and as you can hear, I don't have the best of voices today. My throat's not completely fine, shall we say. Now, today's episode is going to be all about Grey Knights and why they're so good. It's about my list that I'm taking to the Iron Man GT. So it's nothing new. It's not new. It's the same kind of thing as what other people have been using for Grey Knights at the moment, with double Paladin bombs. And all the aim of this video today is to let people know why Grey Knights are so good. So people know what the Grey Knights do now to a certain extent, but they come to the table and they don't know all of the tricks and that kind of stuff, and people are getting caught out by them. So the aim of the video today is to let people know exactly how my list works. I've got loads of components in there, like all the best stuff, so it just lets you know how the list functions, and then you guys can understand it better when you come to play against it on the table. So you'll know what warlord trait most people are going to pick, what relics most people are going to take, how many units can shoot and not be seen back, and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to go for today, guys. Now, these are my Grey Knights, and don't laugh, guys. I'm doing them gold. Just because I want them a little bit different to everybody else's. Everyone else is a silver, mine are gold, but my characters are silver. Got gold Grey Knights with silver characters, so I thought, let's do something a little bit different. So they've all got halberds. Like every regular dude has got a halberd. And then all of my paladins have got warding staves. So the list first, guys. It's 2 battalions and a Vanguard Detachment. First battalion is Voldus, because he's absolutely amazing now. Cast 3 powers, lets you reroll 1s on everyone, and has a hammer that's not -1 to hit in combat. So he's very, very good. So we've got Voldus. And we've got a Librarian. Now the Librarian has the Warlord trait, Lawmaster I believe it's called. It lets him know an additional psychic power. You can only cast 2, but it lets him know a 3rd one, which is always handy. And he knows the 3 new powers that are all cast on a 7. That's for a reason. He has the relic, the Sanctic Shard. Now the Sanctic Shard's a great relic. Most psychic relics that I've seen that help buff you are normally either +1 to cast or rerolls to your casts. Now, the Sanctic Shard is +1 to your casts and reroll your psychic tests. So, it's brilliant. It lets you do both in one go. So, that's amazing. So, he knows, and that's why they're the 3, yeah, I do sound rough, don't I? So, they're the 3 hardest powers to cast. Other than Vortex, they're the 3 hardest powers to cast, so I thought it makes it better if I put it on that guy. Now, Grey Knights get +1 to cast for being Grey Knights. Then you'll get +1 to cast for him again because of the Sanctic Shard. So he's now got +2 to cast and rerolls to his casts. So this guy's casting those 3 powers. Those 3 powers are all cast on a 7, and they're the hardest. But it gives him +2 and reroll. So he's now casting the hardest powers that I know in the army on 5-up rerollables, which is so reliable. He's really, really good. And the powers are get full rerolls to hit within half range, shoot in the psychic phase and immediately move, and then gain a command point. Those are the 3 hardest powers to get off. So he has those. So that's it with Voldus. Voldus has got Sanctuary, Hammerhand, and Astral Aim to buff the paladins. So Voldus, Librarian, and then 3 units of strikes. Now the strikes, as you saw, have all got Stormbolters and Halberds. And then they've got 1 Psy Cannon in each squad. Now Psy Cannons are awesome, because if you're using them that way, why are people using 3 Chaplains? For Grey Knights? I don't know. Well, Grey Knights do have some awesome litanies. And the thing with the Grey Knights is, they know 2 litanies, but they can only use 1. So, possibly for that. Now, there's 2 really nice litanies that I like. So, both of them are on my Chaplain. and I just use them situationally. If I need one, I use that. If I need the other one, I use that. So I just use them like that. But I think people are taking multiple so they can use them all at the same time, I guess. So yeah, we've got three units of strikes. 4 guys have got stormbolters and halberds, and 1 guy has got a side cannon. Because in the Tide of Convergence, I believe it's called, all side weapons in your army get +1 strength and damage. So instead of strength 7 -1 1 damage, these guys become strength 8 -1 2 damage. So they're like intercessor killers. Helps you a lot against intercessors. Helps against toughness 7 vehicles as well, because you can wound them on 3s, I guess. And instead of 1 damage, 2 damage, and it's free. So why would you not? Do it. So each squad is only 4 points more expensive with a side cannon. So that's it. So we've got 3 squads of strikes, 4 guys have got stormbolters and halberds, and 1 guy has got side cannons in all 3 squads. Then the second battalion is a chaplain. Now the chaplain's power is armoured resilience, which is -1 to wound. So he gives -1 to a wound to normally a squad of paladins. And then his litanies are the one where you can ignore hit roll modifiers. That's really nice. And then the other one is an extra AP on all of your psi weapons in a squad, and an extra AP to all nemesis weapons in combat as well for that squad. So he really buffs a squad. So he's got -1 to wound, ignore modifiers, or -1. So ignore modifiers or -1, you have to choose which one you want to go for. I guess if you're playing something like Planes or a Calexus, then you would choose ignore modifiers, because he ignores hit roll modifiers, but also ballistic skill modifiers. Now that's key, because if you're playing against Alatok planes, you drop in and you shoot, you're ignoring hit roll modifiers because they make you -1 to hit. So you're ignoring hit roll modifiers. However, when you shoot at a Calexus, if you just had ignore hit roll modifiers, I'm afraid you would still be hitting him on 6s. Now the key is they say ignore hit roll modifiers and ballistic skill modifiers. Now the Calexus doesn't make you -1 to hit, he just says your ballistic skill is 6+. So he's modifying your ballistic skill. He's a ballistic skill modifier. But you ignore that. You ignore that for this litany. So you can just shoot a Calexus sitting on 3s. It's absolutely brilliant. So that's the way they're loaded out. That's the way the chaplain's loaded out. And then we have a brother captain. Now the brother captain has warp shaping to change the tide, which is absolutely phenomenal. So he has that, and he has just a Nemesis Force sword with a Stormbolter, because the Nemesis Force sword for him is awesome, because in the games where you need it, you can take the blade of the Forsworn or something like that. It's a really cool relic sword that makes him strength 5, -3, flat 3 damage. So really, really good. So you can take that in games that you need it in. And he's there because he doubles the range of all my smites within 6 inches of him. So Grey Knight smites are 12-inch range, but within 6 inches of him, Grey Knight smites are 24-inch range. So he's really good as a force multiplier for me. Because the only 2 tides I really use, actually, I've not used any of the others except for these 2. I use the Tide of Convergence, which is the one where, like we spoke about, all psi weapons in an army get +1 strength and +1 damage. And then the other one is all smites do 2 damage instead of 1. So instead of 1 more wound, your smites do 2 more wounds, which is absolutely amazing for Grey Knights, because the casting value for them doesn't go up. So as many 2 damage smites as you can get is awesome. And then in the rest of that detachment, so it's a chaplain, a brother captain, and then we've got 3 more squads of strikes. Again, 4 guys with a stormbolter and a halberd in each squad, and 1 guy with a side cannon in each squad. So overall, we've got Voldus, a librarian, a chaplain, and a brother captain. And then we've got 6 squads of strikes, and all of them have got 1 side cannon in each one. So just multiplying the amount of efficiency we can get from that tide. Then on top of that, the final detachment is a Vanguard Detachment. Now it's a cool detachment. The HQ is a Tech Marine. And then our first elite choice is a unit of 4 Servitors. And then our next 2 elite choices are 2 units of 10 Paladins. Oops. He says as he drops a Paladin on the floor. So, yeah, it's 2 squads of 10 Paladins. Now these Paladins have got all warding staves. All 20 paladins have got warding staves. In one squad, we've got 6 stormbolters and 4 side cannons, and in the other squad, we've just got 10 stormbolters. So the squad that starts on the board has got 4 side cannons in it, just for a bit of extra punch, you know. Strength 8, -1/2 damage. If the litany's off on them guys, it'll be strength 8, -2/2 damage, which is really nice. So that's great. That's good. I like that. Now, this is pretty cool as well. So that's what the guys with the side cannons look like, paladins. Now that's a Nemesis warding stave. So from loads of different boxes, you only get like 1, possibly 2 warding staves in some boxes, but normally you just get 1 warding stave. Now, I had loads of strikes, so I had loads of spare warding staves. So I actually have 12 warding staves. So I had 12 warding staves like this, legit ones, actual warding staves, and then I had to make 8 myself. And you know what? I think they look pretty cool. You guys let me know what you guys think, whether you think these are acceptable or not. But this is what one of the others looks like. That's my Nemesis warding stave. So it is a staff, and I've just put something really cool on the top of it. Now I actually prefer the eagle to this. So, you know, I've got a few different ones, and I'll show you guys, see what you think. And I just thought, you know, it looks cool, and you can't really get it confused for any of the other warding weapons, Nemesis weapons. Sorry, that's a Nemesis warding stave I've got right there. Then another example of one I have is this one. I have this warding stave. I think that looks pretty cool. And then got a couple more. Oh yeah, this one. Got this Nemesis warding stave. So I think they just look cool. It's just staffs and stuff. Martin, I'm ready for Amsterdam. It looks shite, mate. Oh, thanks, Martin. Look at this. I'm trying to at least have one army that I can make look nice, because everybody knows I'm crap at painting, and you're even crapping on my dreams there, mate. So yeah, those are some more warding staves I made. And oh, we got one with a skull on it. There we are. Oops, sorry guys for that loud crash. Yep, got that one there. So yeah, I made eight of my own warding staves, and then I had 12 actual ones. So we've got 20 warding staves. Let me just pick this up, guys. Made a mess here. About dropping this. Yeah, so guys, oh, what's this? It's unpainted, that's the issue. Yeah, it is unpainted, mate, it is unpainted. It's going to be painted. Oh, and so what I'm doing right now, guys, so I'm sitting here, and basically, I've got my paintbrush, and I'm painting them gold, and I got some advice of Jay from Mohawk Miniatures, and he says that if you put Druchii Violet, pretty good tip actually. If you just put Druchii Violet wash over the top of your gold, it like dulls it down a bit, but gives it like a sort of slight purple tinge, but dulls it down a lot. And then if you put Reichland Flesh Shade over the top of it, slightly brings the gold back out over the top of the other wash again. So I'm gonna try it out, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. But yeah, so that's the list, guys. That's the whole list. Now the idea is the reason why I've got that many characters as well, and I've got the 1 unit of servitors, is because I've checked it unit wise, points wise, and power level wise. I can start the game with just Voldus, the librarian, the chaplain, the brother captain, the tech marines, 5 characters, 1 unit of 4 servitors, and 1 unit of 10 paladins on the board. So 5 characters, 4 servitors, and 10 paladins. That's all I need to have on the board at the start of the game. And then that lets me, in reserve, put 6 squads of 5 strike marines and a unit of 10 paladins, which is awesome. It lets you have a massive beta strike on people. So I really like the options that it gives you. Plus I get an extra command point in that Vanguard by taking the Tech Marine and the Servitor, so I like that. And also the Tech Marine, he's I was talking to Vic about it, and the reason why I took the Tech Marine first is to deep strike him, use the teleportarium to put him in reserve, then deep strike him and make him come within 3 inches of an enemy unit, and then burst the range of inner fire and blow something away with mortal wounds, because he's only 70 points, so why not? Until Vic pointed out to me that actually when you deep strike in, you can only come within 3 inches if you were deep striking and using the teleport strike rule. So I can't do that, guys. I can't do that. So thanks, Vic, for helping me out with that. So he was like, you should have taken Apothecary. And yeah, I could have taken Apothecary 76 points. That'd have been totally fine. But then I'd have 2 battalions. So the Apothecary's good because he can do that in a fire trick. However, the Tech Marine's good because he gives me an extra command point. He lets me take the Servitor, so I can put the perfect number on the board to put the perfect number of what I want in the sky. Then he's another HQ, so he lets me take that Vanguard and have an extra command point, which is huge. Then, I mean, you know, he does have a Flamer, a Plasma, a Bolt Gun, a Power Maul, 2 Servo Arms. He's actually pretty decent for sitting at the back on an objective. And I've still given him Inner Fire, because if somebody does try to come into my backfield to take my objectives, he just charges in and does his Inner Fire. So he can clear people off your backfield objectives, so I like him for that. And he did in a game the other day when I tried against Dan. So that's awesome. And then yeah, so that's it. You've got 2 battalions and a Vanguard, and it's the perfect number to put on the board and in the sky, both units, power level, and points wise, guys. Yeah, so that's Voldus, Chaplain, Librarian, Brother Captain, Tech Marine, 4 Servitors, and 10 Paladins on the board. And then in reserve, you've got 6 units of strikes and a unit of 10 Paladins. It's really cool that it works out that way. Now, the key thing to watch out for, guys, is the changing of the tide. So people aren't very scared when they come to the table against Grey Knights because they think you can only use 1 tide a turn. This is not the case. So quite often what I do is I start in the double damage for gun tide. And what I do is I can gate my unit that's on the board into like the middle of the board behind a ruin somewhere, use astral aim on them, and then shoot them in the psychic phase. So I can shoot them in the psychic phase in the tide of convergence. So they're shooting and if I use cyber ammunition, then they're shooting at strength 6 minus 2 damage. And then what I do is, after I've done that, change the tide to the smite tide. Now it doesn't seem that big. What it does is it puts me in a really good place for turn 2. Now, in turn 2, if my opponent is exposed in any way, all of the strikes and the other paladin squad drop in from reserve. I'm in the smite tide, so I just go, bam, take 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, lots of smite to the face at 24-inch range, 2 damage each. So you can hit people with 12 to 15 odd smites that do 24 to 30 odd mortal wounds. And then after you've cast those powers, cast warp shaping and change the tide to the tide of convergence. Then in the shooting phase, all of your psi weapons are +1 strength and damage. So in the same turn, because you've started that turn in the smite tide, you come down, you do all your smites and 2 damage, then change the tide at the end of that psychic phase, and also shoot all of your psi weapons with +1 strength and damage. Now, when you've got a psi cannon in every squad that's strength 8 minus 1, 2 damage, then you've got 4 psi cannons in a paladin squad that are strength 8 minus 1, 2 damage. Then you've got the 1 Gatling Stormbolter squad with 10 Stormbolters, strength 6 minus 2, 2 damage. After the smites, it all piles up and it just works out to be so much damage. So watch out for that, guys. That's a massive thing, is tides. And the other big thing that I wanted to let you guys know about is the double hidden units. Now what you can do is, so these are my 2 Paladin squads. 2 Paladin squads, yeah, guys. So one's in reserve. 1 Paladin squad is in reserve. The one on the board gates into a ruin in the middle of the board, turn 1. This unit casts Astral Aim, and they shoot you while they're hidden. Now, turn 2. These guys behind the wall jump out, and another unit comes in behind a ruin. Now, the unit behind the ruin, this time, they Astral Aim to shoot you without being seen. And the unit that jumped out, they shoot in the psychic phase and then move immediately back behind the ruin again. So one unit can Astral Aim and shoot you without needing line of sight, and the other unit can come out, get line of sight to you, shoot you, and then move again to hide. So you can have 2 squads of 10 Paladins that are just hidden all game, jumping out, shooting you, jumping back in, jumping out, shooting you, jumping back in, and they could just do that all game. So that's one thing to watch out for, and try and make sure you have a plan for, guys. Yeah, I realise I am running Grey Knights, so I'm just giving away all my tricks here and helping people, but that's what we do, that's what we're here for, guys, to help everyone, right? So thank you very much for watching there, guys. I hope that means you've learned a lot more about Grey Knights and what they can do. And I will catch you again on Monday Night Mashup, where I'll be talking about something else cool. Thank you very much for watching, guys.